just another Holden. It was nothing special, but the fact that it rose in value was pretty special to me because I appreciated that vehicle. And I think if you look into the world of men, boys and their toys type of thing, you'll find a lot of that as well. Like a lot of them appreciate old classic cars and look how much they appreciate over the years, because not only because it's a classic car, but it's also kept in good nick as well, like it's not just sitting in the garage with, rust on the bottom and whatnot. It's actually been taken care of, it's an asset to them.
I don't think the new generation will be into classic cars because to hold a classic car and to work on a car like what you're talking about, like let's call it a Mustang or something like that, it takes time. They call it a labour of love because it takes years to achieve it. That hot rod look, shall I say, right? So, like, I know guys who have worked on cars for like 15, 20 years until they get it to a point where they're like, all right, I'm going to take it to a show or take it for a drive or whatever it is, right? A lot of the new generation, I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of the new generation don't have that patience. You know what I mean? They're like, I just want to get, the latest Ferrari or whatever it is, right? And that's the way a lot of the younger generation think now. Don't think about those small steps. And the thing is, though, the smaller the steps and the longer the process, the sweeter it tastes at the end. Of course, yeah. And that's what we've got to. That's what we want to. We want to tell you listeners out there about, especially when it comes to property investing, right? It's the small steps that matter in property investing. You don't have to be this gun developer straight away.
No, not at all.
I never started like that. Like my first property cost me $340,000. So a lot of people say to me, pardon me, a lot of people say to me, "Oh, Zah, it's easy for you because you've got a few properties or you've got a big property portfolio." Well, like, how did I start? You know what I mean? I started on a $340,000 property.
That's right.
And I started, because I had to work 3 jobs. You know what I mean? I had to put a $70,000 deposit aside. That's still a lot of money. I was 24, 25 years old. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So, like, I had to do it the hard way as well. A lot of people say, oh, well, the properties were cheap. You know what I mean? When you bought them. And I said,
relative.
It's all relative. You know what I mean? You can still get properties today for $340,000. Right? So what's your excuse? Like, people just want to find these excuses because it's easy, but they don't. They want their dream home straight away.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think that first property, which I still hold now on the Central Coast, for $340,000 is my dream home? No, it's not my dream home.
No, absolutely
right?
not.
But it is part of the process of my entrepreneurial journey. That first property helped me buy my first business, helped me leverage me into my second property, and so on and so on and so on. Without that first property, I wouldn't be here where I am today.
Yeah, exactly.
So it is the small steps that matter. You need to take those incremental habits with you and trust the process that it's going to work out to be something bigger on the other end.
Definitely. So to move forward as well, guys, continuing on with more small steps that matter. Becoming conscious of your actions, Jay. This is something again you're quite big on. Being conscious of every. I mean, both of you guys.
Yeah,
are.
Is that because I'm not conscious
no,
of my actions?
You definitely are, but this one's at Jade at the moment. But in every decision that you make, it's not just. I guess we've learned as time has gone on over the years, we don't just make decisions on the spot. We take the time. Unless it's executing on something that we know is not going to have a major impact.
Yeah.
We discussed this the other days, but big decisions take time, and becoming conscious of your actions, that I feel is going to continue on for the rest of your life, especially if you take those small steps now. Would you agree?
Yes, definitely. I think becoming I don't know if it comes with age. Becoming you're wiser, I think, as you get older, and you've had a lot more experience, obviously, when you're a bit older, of course. But being conscious of your actions, mitigating as much risk as possible. Have I been through this before? What will happen if I make this decision? How quick can I make this decision? How much can I stall this decision? What's the impact around? What's the greater impact around me? Be conscious of being conscious of what, you know, your stakeholders and what's around you for you to make those decisions. I think for me, making decisions, this ties into making decisions and being conscious of those decisions is a lot easier for me now. Obviously, I have, a wider group that we can consult to, but being conscious of every decision that you make and that flow-on ripple effect that will have on your stakeholders, I think that you need to be conscious of that, because those decisions that you make, those actions that you put into place now is going to have a ripple effect down the track and compounding effect. You know, is this a positive impact to people around me? Is it going to negatively impact anyone around me? How will these people feel? Like, I'm a big believer in how these decisions and how my actions are going to make others feel around me. And I think that's one of the things that comes to mind, because you need an amazing team around you to be successful as well. And that has a compounding effect with your brand, your company culture, whatever company that, if you work for a company, if you run a company and you're trying to build an amazing culture, all of your actions, these little action steps, are going to build that culture in the future.
Definitely.
For the long term.
Definitely.
I think what comes with that is, like Jade said when she first touched on that subject, is it comes with experience as you get older. Like, I'm finding that I execute so much on a daily basis that I'm dealing with a lot of rejection, you know, a lot of no's, you know, a lot of things where, you know, things aren't going my way, but every time that happens, I learn something new. So I think a lot of people will say, oh, well, how do I get more experience? Then I think more experience just comes with more execution. Because if you can execute more and do a lot more stuff and not really fear failure, then you'll be more conscious of your actions that way, because then you'll know what to do and what not to do in certain situations.
Yep.
And, you know, like running a business, like Jade said, or investing in property or whatever it is you're trying to do, it's a process. You've got to go through the mistakes and the failures, because that's the only way you learn. And I think people are waiting pardon me. I think people are waiting for things to be as perfect as possible before actually executing and doing things. And that's the problem with today's generation, is that, you know, they're seeing things on social media, they're seeing, you know, things through the eyes of other people, and they're going, well, I'm not going to try something because I want it to be perfect. You know what I mean? I want when I execute it to be 100% right, because I don't want to look like a fool in front of everybody else. But the problem is they just got to go and do it. And it's the same with property investing. Like, you just got to go and do it. I mean, don't go in recklessly and aimlessly and do it, but do enough research to make yourself feel, you know, half confident in making a decision. And some decisions are going to be wrong, some decisions are going to be right, but how else are you going to learn?
Oh, I mean, even if you spent the first 6 to 12 months, if you set a date from today, and you said, right, in 12 months from today, I'm going to have my first property, for example, you know, I need to save X amount. Study the markets, understand where you're going to go, understand where you can afford what, you know, talk to the professional network around you, or whoever it may be. And this isn't just for property, but for whatever it might
It's not that hard.
No.
It's not that hard. Like, we've got so much access to good information now that we should be executing more.
We take it for granted.
We take it for granted. Like, back in the day, like where the baby boomers came from, they didn't have the access to information that we had. So do you know the way they learnt? Is through execution. That's why they're good executors, because they had no other choice but to do stuff and to stuff up at it and then learn from it and then keep moving forward. Where now we have so many people who are, in quotation marks, experts, and we have so much access to information that people just stall and procrastinate and don't do anything. Do you know how many times I've talked to people about losing weight, for example? So we'll steer off property investment, go back to fitness, about losing weight, and the diet's always starting on Monday, right? Or the gym sessions are always starting next month, or whatever. Or they've found this new crazy workout and they're going to start that next week. It's like, why don't you just go and do something?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Like, why are we... Or so they're searching for some magic pill to help them lose weight. It's like, there is no magic pill.
No.
It's
just no choice.
just hard work.
It's action and consistency.
That's right.
Yeah.
You've just got to get in there and do it. So the problem is we have the luxury now of having so many things around us that we've got. It's like a buffet. There's so many things to choose from. There's a diet over here. There's supplements over here. You know what I mean? There's an expert over here. And it's like, which one do I choose? You know what? I've got so many to choose from.
Choose nothing.
I'm going to choose nothing. Yeah. That's what I get like when I actually go to a buffet. Yeah. There is so much good food that I just kind of say, I'm just going to have my little bowl of ice cream and that's it.
And then when you're on your way home, you complain that you didn't get the prawns.
So when there's too much choice, I relate to that, because when there's too much choice, you stall and you procrastinate, and that's the problem now. What we must do is filter through those choices, and be like 50% on each of our choices, and just go, all right, let's just try it. Bang, 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 bang. And
what's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, the worst that can happen is that you've made the wrong choice, but then it's a filtration process from there. It's just about doing stuff.
Oh, of course, 100%, which actually leads into our next point. You basically answered that, but the earlier you start, the more compounding will favour you. I mean, it's a no-brainer, really. Like, it's more time in the game, the bigger the results at the end of the day. And this is something, again, I don't want to go back onto property, but I will just for argument's sake. But we tell our people, like, the market this, the market that, it might slow down. There's talk and there's hype of this and that. And it's like, okay, while that's going on, the market's still going up. And
look,
you're losing.
You talk to every property investor today. Every property investor who has experienced success, like me, or you, right? They will all say the one regret they have is that they didn't get into it earlier.
Of course, yeah.
You always say it. Why didn't I get into that earlier? Why didn't I set bigger goals? Why didn't I implement these habits earlier? Like, I think the same. Like, why didn't I get in it earlier? I don't think I could have actually gotten in it any earlier than I did anyway, but I wish I had the mindset of buying more earlier. If I had bought more earlier, which I was more than capable of doing, I would triple or quadruple my net worth right now. And, you don't know that until you get to this point now where you've seen the compound effect from the properties that you have. But ask anyone in property, they're always going to say, I should have started earlier, I should have bought more, and I should have blocked out all the noise.
And that's actually been going, like, there's been quotes, that have been said decades ago about, acquiring assets, let's just call it, earlier and earlier and earlier. Like, don't just wait. Everyone, they say when everyone's running, that's when you buy, but when everyone's going to the stop, that's when you steer clear of it.
Well, right now everyone's running to the stop.
Of course.
Right? And what will happen is when we do have a correction, or some people are saying it's going to be a crash, whatever it is, what's going to happen is that people are going to be running away from it. But in actual fact, that's when we should all be getting in, because in another 10 years, we'll be seeing a big uplift again, right? And that's where the compound effect will really take place in another 10 years' time. Yeah, sure, we're getting property now for, instant equity gains of $60,000-$70,000, and in the first 12 months we might be making $100,000 or whatever it is, but that's nothing compared to what we can make in 10 years' time.
Correct.
We're talking millions of dollars in 10 to 20 years' time. So the small profit margins we're making today, it's just baby dollars, right? It's the bigger picture that we're more interested in, the 10, 20, 30 years' time, the leaving a legacy. That's the big thing for us.
Yeah, definitely. We got 2 more points to go, but this one here is, again, to both of you guys, it's quite important. It's learn each day. This is something that both of you have taught me a lot about this year, and I can't stress enough to everyone out there listening as well how important it is to learn every day. And even the days that you think that you know everything, you've got to go out there and learn something new. Jade, what do you learn not so much what do you learn, but do you learn every single day, when you get faced with different adversities and stuff like that?
I think if you're not learning each day, you're not growing, you're not progressing, and you're not experiencing the compounding effect in your life, wherever that might be, whether it's in property, whether it's in your personal life, whether it's a compounding effect in relation to your career. Learning each day, whether that be learning something new to help you progress or learning from your mistakes and your errors. And that's where we really, really start to build resilience. So we can experience the compound effect in the future. You should. If you're not learning every day, then what are you doing? Then you